Hi guys, this is Leslie. Welcome to my channel. Today my frugal thought is about using less of items so that you can immediately save 30, 40, or 50% of your grocery bill by using less of the products in your home. I first started thinking about this several years ago when I was reading the Tightwad Gazette, which is a book by Amy Decision. And one of the things that Amy brought up in her book, I don't know Amy, I'm just using her first name, is that one of the things she always investigated and looked into is how much of an item did she really need in terms of cleaning effectively and in terms of her recipes. And she said, and it has always stuck with me, is she questioned all this time, do I really need that much? Do I really need to use that much of, and fill in the blank? Because one of the things I've learned, for instance, and I think she had used the example of eggs in quiche. I think her favorite quiche recipe called for 8 to 10 eggs, and she realized that she could make it for with 6 eggs, and the quiche was just as delicious. I noticed it a couple years ago with my favorite chili recipe, and that it calls for, I think, 2 pounds of beef, and I started using just a little over 1 pound of beef. And it is not soupy, it is delicious. I might add a little bit extra green pepper. It's very spicy, it's very delicious, but I use much less meat than the recipe called for, which saves me 50% of the cost of the meat. Now, obviously, there's a little bit extra cost because of whatever the other items that I'm putting into the recipe, but that's usually a whole lot less than the cost of the meat. And so those are 2 examples. There's obviously hundreds of examples like that. You could, the other thing I used to do all the time is when my kids were little, when they wanted orange juice, I never gave them full strength orange juice, and they didn't realize it until much later. I would put the orange juice in a glass and quickly throw some water on it, or water it down with ice cubes while they were coming down, so that they got really about 50 to 60% of the orange juice, and the rest of it was just water. If you do this, obviously you are saving 30-40% of your grocery bill, because instead of having to buy 6 pounds of beef a month, you may only have to buy 3 pounds of beef a month. So it's about a 50% saving. This is not only true of food items, it's also true of other items around the house. I always make sure that in our home that our trash bags are full to the brim before we take them out, which is usually once a day, because we tend to have there's a lot of us here, and so but I would never let if our basket is not all the way full, or our trash can is not all the way full, I will make sure that other things go into it, that I will look for other things that we need, whether or not emptying the trash cans from upstairs into it, and making sure that the plastic bag that goes out every night is full of trash, not 2/3 full, not half full. This is true of so many items also around the house, and I'm not picking on. One of the things I remember is when I was growing up, the instructions to wash your hair was to put a palm-sized amount of shampoo in your hair, and then to lather, rinse, and repeat. And it took me into my early 20s to realize that once you put the amount in your palm, which I don't know that you needed that much in your palm, once you lather and rinse, you've already washed your hair. So you don't need to repeat. Do a really good job the first time of lathering and rinsing, and then you're done. You don't have to repeat. So if you have I'm going to pretend this is a bottle of shampoo. This is your bottle of shampoo, every time you wash your hair, you're using half an ounce, let's say, of shampoo. If you stop the repeating part, you're going to get 64 uses out of this bottle if you use half an ounce every time if it's a 32-ounce bottle. If you're going to lather, rinse, and repeat, you're only going to get 32. So by cutting out 50% of the use of that product, you're saving yourself 50% off the cost of how much you spend on shampoo. That is also true of this item, and I happen to love this item, but I don't want to pick on it. It is a brand that it's a multi-service bathroom cleaner, but I was looking at the directions, and the directions say to sanitize, you should wet thoroughly. And that struck me when I started looking at it, because I thought, do we really need to wet thoroughly? I know that when I'm cleaning out my bathroom or whatever it is that I'm cleaning out, that I think that I can just wet it down and then really scrub it off a lot. And if it needs, I'm sorry, I'm doing this, but if it really needs like an extra little bit, I can just add a little 1 or 2 more squirts, but the whole entire thing doesn't have to be wet thoroughly. It's just something for you to consider. And all the less squirts that come out of this bottle, the more money you save, is what it basically comes down to. So, and the other thing, of course, is the detergent, the laundry detergent, and the dish detergent. Do you really need to use 3 squirts to do your dishes, hand wash your dishes? Or can you get maybe away with 1 squirt and you know, let them sit there? I was always a big believer in back when we hand washed our dishes, filling up the sink, letting them to sit there for a while in just hot water or plain water, and that would get a lot of the dirt off, and then adding the soap. And of course the laundry detergent. Pretty much everyone just thinks you fill up half of the cap full and dump it in. Well, then I think you really have to start thinking about that. Do you really need a full cap? Can you get away with half a cap? Can you maybe get away with 1/4 of a cap? Because if you can get away with 25% as much as the detergent manufacturer is telling you to use, you just save 75% of the cost of your detergent for the year. So all I'm saying to you, and what I'm hoping, and I don't want to keep on belaboring this point, but when you are using items around your house, one of the ways to save is to always think to yourself, can I use less of this? And that will be automatically a way for you all to save money on your grocery and shopping bills. This is Leslie. Thank you so much for watching my channel. If you like this content and if you would like to see more of it, please subscribe and hit the like button down there. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to build up this channel. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. That was my frugal thought for the day. Thanks. Use less of everything.